Uncle C, back in the office, and in today's video, I'm going to be discussing the one trait that all masculine men have that turns all women on, that virtually you are going to have to ingrain into your head, and virtually you are going to need to get through anything in life, whether that be big or small, a hard task, a not so hard task, or virtually attract the type of companion that you've always wanted. This one trait is so crucially important that without it, not only will you be low status, but ultimately you will be dumped, heartbroken, and cheated time and time again. And even if you have great and or proper seduction, you will be burned on the S3 actual playing field time and time again. Let's dive in. Now, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Zander. I'm the founder of Headman, and I am here to revitalize masculinity and help make men full stack. So, you might be wondering, hey, I clicked this title for a damn good reason. What is the number one trait that all masculine men have that 99%ers don't? The number one trait, fellas, is going to be emotional control. I want you to let that sink in for a second. Emotional control. What does that mean, and what have you been taught? See, men throughout all of today have been taught to overly emote. They have been taught to show their feelings, and here's the worst piece of all of this, is they have been taught to lead with feelings. Now, the second that you lead with feelings, this, fellas, is exactly what strips you from everything that made you a man in the first place. If men have been conditioned to do this, here's what's going to happen. Not only are women going to view you as a less viable option, going to view you as less dependable, going to view you as less safe, but what you're going to find time and time again is they will lose attraction due to the fact that you are not able to carry out tasks and or missions from objective truth. This goes so deep on every level. I even made notes today. As you have been taught to feel more, in retrospect with that, you lose your strength. And the strength is the ability to make decisions and to be decisive regardless of how you feel. You see, what men have been taught is, you've been taught to feel, and when you feel, that how you feel is the correct way by default. Here's what happens when you lead with emotion. When a woman sees a man lead with emotion, she will start to give abrasion in the argument, and she will oftentimes counter his lead. Because she knows that it's the wrong decision, and ultimately she knows that it's the decision that he does not want to make, but he's continuing to make it anyways. When you see men without emotional control, here's what you're going to see. You're going to see anger, you're going to see frustration, you're going to see rage, you're going to see low motivation, and you're going to see men who are not on their purpose. Let's look at the first one, anger. See, when a man is not able to control himself, he gets angry. Certain things trigger him. And because he has no stability, he has no focus within his life. He has no ability to lead by objective, raw, masculine truth. This is going to be the number one hindrance when it comes to you actually being a dedicated man of value. And in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly why. Now, since it is Friday, I personally believe that I owe everybody a little story with why I'm talking about this today and how I came to terms with this. So I'm working with a one-to-one client right now, okay? And I'm going to leave his name private. He actually lives in a completely different part of the world than I live in, but he's understanding the ways of MBT, and he's getting into his solid masculine frame, and he's dating a woman, and this is a great story. So he took his woman, his girlfriend, his LTR, out to dinner, okay? And when he took her out to dinner, they went with another couple, okay? And the couple was her friend and then the boyfriend of the other one that they were with. So it's basically a couple's date, right? When they go and the two part ways, at the end of it, here's what happens. She looks her boyfriend dead in the eyes and she says, "Me and that other guy, I could tell that we had a moment," okay? And this causes confusion in his head. He goes, "Well, what kind of moment?" And notice she wouldn't give it to him. She wouldn't say what type of moment. "Oh, just a moment. I could tell like we had a connection. We had a moment." She's telling her boyfriend this about the other guy that she's sitting across from, who is also with a woman. Now, let's look at this from a few different angles. Number one, the man who already had a woman is ultimately going to be showing pre-selection value. So whether he's high value or not, he, just by default, having a woman by his side, this automatically piques that woman's interest. Now, depending on how rock solid the man that she is with depending on how rock solid his seduction and his masculine frame is going to dictate the amount of emotional attachment that she has towards him. Here's what I can tell you. Clearly it was not enough because she's willing to test and she's willing to go to these lengths. This is what this man told me. He said, Casey, what do I do? And I got to this in a little bit. I steered him the right way and I showed him what to do, but ultimately he felt triggered, okay? In the past, he said that he would have become extremely emotional. He said he would have beat a dead horse, right? Basically, interject inside of that argument time and time again, hour after hour after hour after hour. And he knows that he would have not gotten anywhere. He knows he would have not gotten a straightforward answer out of her. Why? Because that is not exactly how a woman is going to communicate with you in the relationship. When he started to notice this test, he looked at his past behavior, and what would have ended in a fight, what would have ended in him making himself look like a weak man, or a four-letter word that starts with a B, what would have made him look weak and impulsive by feeding into that garbage of his girlfriend saying, I had a moment with a different guy, he was able to catch it. And it's because he was in his masculine frame and he stopped leading with emotion. He stopped leading with anger. He stopped letting women in the relationship move him off his center. And he took a step back and he took a deep breath. And he messaged me on one of my client communication panels, and he goes, Casey, what do I do? I said, listen, you got to take a step back. Number one, that most certainly was a test. And number two, she wants to see if you are man enough to deal with it the correct way, if you are strong enough to deal with it the correct way. I said, here's what I can tell you. A woman that genuinely cares for you, a woman that has a genuine desire for you, not only will she never say something like that, but she would be fearful of losing you. She would not want to rock the boat and tell you that she had a moment with a different man to your face. The only reason that woman has the ability to do that is because she knows that you don't have the power to walk away. That you will take that, and you will create an argument out of it. You will act insecure about it. You will act angry about it, and you will act bitter about it. And despite her being in the wrong at that specific time, he knows that I was right. And the reason why I was right is because every single step that man would have taken would have led him down a road of misery and down an entire night of nothing more than arguments. So he stayed in his center. He said, Casey, what do I do? I said, here's what you need to do. I said, is this the type of woman and the type of behavior that you want to be with? Is this the type of behavior that you want to see expressed from your girl that you've known now for years? He says, absolutely not. I say, okay, then you need to remove yourself. I say, either send her a text or call her up and say, hey, I no longer want to be with you. I'll come by and get my stuff tomorrow. And he did just that. He owed her zero explanation. He owed her zero apology. He was fully in control. And I guarantee you that shifted that woman's emotional state where she sat there for a second and goes, oh shit, I might have bit the hand that feeds. I might have misjudged the character of this man and of this man's masculinity. For a second, I may have misjudged how strong he actually is. And he's not necessarily so emotionally invested that he will not walk away. This man will not tolerate bullshit. This man knows how to command his worth and how to command his value. So what's the moral of this story? The moral of the story is this. The more you let BS happen in a relationship, not only are you slowly emasculated, but naturally you will slowly start to lead with emotion instead of your emotional control and your masculine frame. The number one trait that all strong masculine men have that turns women on is the ability to have emotional control and emotional indifference. Now keep in mind, this does not mean that you don't feel anything, but what it means is that you're strong enough to recognize how you feel, and despite how you feel, you are able to actually push through that and still lead with raw, objective truth. This is the biggest hack, the biggest superpower that all men can take away from this single video to not only increase their chances of love and their chances of intimacy, but to finally command the respect that they've always deserved. They just have not necessarily known how to frame. Do not take that type of BS in a relationship from anybody. Because a true man will know his worth, a true man will carry himself as high status, a true man will carry himself as high value. So fellas, what am I getting at? By the end of this video, if you notice you have made any of these mistakes, meaning if you have seen that in the past you have not had the emotional control or the emotional stability over yourself in certain times when you wish you would have, I highly, 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 highly cannot stress this enough. I highly recommend you going down below and clicking the link and registering for the MBT webinar. Okay, MBT MBT stands for Men's Masculine Behavioral Training. And this is the only 4 steps that a man needs to master for the rest of his life to have success with women, attract and keep the woman who he's always wanted. And this works at any height, at any age, at any skill, at any income level. When you adapt these specific personality traits, you are able to carry yourself substantially better and become a 1%er in the S3 actual marketplace. That is the very first thing I recommend you checking out. The second thing is every single week, I'm giving backstage access and backstage passes to my exclusive Headman newsletter. You're going to be mailed multiple times per week by me to see exclusive inner frameworks that I'm using within my team of men, and ultimately how I've been building this company and this movement, Headman, to revitalize masculinity and make men full stack. Fellas, hit the like button, comment and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.